My name is Priest Amen. I've done work with the NAACP. I was the president of the Black Student Union at Seattle Central Community College. Currently, right now, I work for POCAAN, the CURB program, Communities United Raider Beach, which is a prisoner reentry program, and it deals with helping prisoners readjust to society, and we try to alleviate some of the barriers that they face in trying to get themselves established again. And what I want to do today is talk to you about a bill that's in legislature right now, that's about to be passed, that will have some adverse effects on communities of color, and especially young men of communities of color. That it will lock up more of our youth and more of our young adults for longer periods of time, which will end up destabilizing more and more families and leaving, and it's not far-fetched to say leaving more women as single mothers and leaving more children as fatherless children. And so hopefully from this conversation today, I can influence you to read the bill yourself. Google it, House Bill 2712, Washington legislation, 2008. Google that bill, read it, see it for what it is, and then come to your own conclusion on what harsher laws and stricter punishments is not what's needed in order to influence and help not only the black community, but communities of color, all communities that are experiencing any level of oppression or poverty. Because typically in areas where there's poverty, there's crime. So what we would need is not stricter law enforcement, because stricter law enforcement simply means you create more unstable and dysfunctional family households. What you need is programs like the one that was supposed to be in the bill, which is geared towards alleviating the social conditions. The funding for the pilot projects to fight gang-related crime and grants to help erase gang graffiti were stripped from the House bill by the House Appropriations Committee. That's in the Columbian, written Tuesday, February 19th. So even the scanner's information is wrong, because the most recent updated information is that the graffiti and the pilot projects were taken out of the bill by the House Appropriations Committee. And it's just really sad that this is the way they think that you can prevent gang violence, when gangs and gang behavior are a result of social ills. And so those social ills could have been addressed. I work in prisoner reentry myself. And so I know, and the program that I work with is a very good program, and I know and I've seen what it takes to try to make a person change their life. You have to give them support. These people that commit crimes, these people that do activities that are illegal, that are deemed illegal, and that are socially disrupting, typically do these activities because of some dysfunction that they've had in their life.
Acting out.
You know, especially if they're youth, which we see a lot of, and this is one thing I noticed just recently. These are grown men who are cops harassing young boys. And so what that means is is that this young boy is not being bad. This young boy is acting the way his environment taught him how to act. And so it's a boy-man relationship. Well, you have men punishing, you have grown men of another race punishing young boys of our race who don't know anything about the world. And what they do know is not enough to help them navigate through the world successfully. And what they need is mentors. They need people to intervene in their life and show them how this world works. They probably haven't had that before. They've probably dealt with drugs, and they probably, if they come from a single parent household and their mothers, low income, low self-esteem, low confidence, no money, same clothes, same shoes, going hungry around the 10th or the 15th of the month after the food stamps are all spent, or even the 5th or the 4th of the month if the mother was on drugs, and being hungry and understanding what that's like. And all they know how to do is, I'm not going to do this. And so they're out there trying to do whatever they're doing, and what they need is somebody to come in and help them, and that will decrease the crime. But if they don't, if the state doesn't fund programs like that, what they end up funding is $33,000 per inmate that's incarcerated per year.
Do you find any of that kind of compassion in this bill? What you've just been talking about? Do you see it anywhere in this bill?
It started, and I see ambiguously it was there in the beginning just by saying the 5 programs, which were not defined. They weren't defined, and it's not rocket science. It's not a rocket science knowing what these people need. It's been studied. Prisoners and these social ills are not. It's not like when the prison system went off. Instead of they used to have indeterminate sentencing in the prison systems, but they went off of that in the late 70s, early 80s, and then started having mandatory sentencing for crimes. It's not like they're just experimenting with the sentencing and they're like trying to see how this program will fit. They know what people need. They know that if you alleviate social conditions, that the behavior of the people inside those conditions will change. It's basic. I mean, it's basic. People coming out of prison need support. So people before they go into prison need support. They come from the same social background. It's not rocket science.
Yeah.
1 + 1 = 2.
Yeah.
Would the public have access to this database here that they're trying to create?
It's a private database. That was one of
How's that? Because we still got the public.
It's a private database.
For law enforcement agencies only,
Yeah,
and not just locally, not just state, but law enforcement agencies across the country.
And there's a law that supersedes.
And meant to have access.
Because the database will be on juveniles. There's a law that says because it's on juveniles, we can hold it private. And see, and actually, I have no problem with the database, because I have no problem. Let me be clear. I have no problem with a database. If there are people who commit crimes, like if there are sex offenders in my community, and I have two little sisters, I would like to know where these cats are. If they're bona fide sex offenders, and then I have access. Now, that's a little bit of community oversight. I don't have a problem with a database with community oversight.
Yeah.
But somebody saying this guy was just playing, why do you have this man in a gang database when all he did was jaywalk and he's wearing this clothes? All right, he happens to be wearing a bandana on his head, which I wear every now and again. But why is he a gang member? What has he done? But without the community oversight with the gang database, it allows for all sorts of things to happen. And with the with SPD's record, it's not far-fetched to say there's going to be some overreacting in reporting of who's a gang member. It's not far-fetched to say. Just like it's not far-fetched to say that somebody may be beat, tasered, or shot by the police this year. That's almost a guaranteed bet.